Hello. This is going to be an examination of some recent acquisitions of romance comics from DC and Charlton. I'm going to start with a few DCs. This is Young Romance number 147 from 1967. It's got a John Rosenberg cover. The first story is called Waiting for Love. It's by Rick Estrada. I was never that big a fan of his superhero work, but I have to say he's really a master at the romance. Of course, he's got the beach scenes, obligatory. And I'm not going to go too much into the stories. I'm just mostly looking at the art. I love how the motorcycle driving away there with the tears. Will it be heartbreak, or will she be on that bike? If I can turn the page, maybe we'll find out. It's Bob. Oh. And of course there's the sleepless nights. And the next day, riding on the boat. Just gonna run through the artwork really quick. I just think it's so nice. In the moonlight. They seem to be hitting it off at the end. This, I'm not sure. I think this might be Mike Sikowski, maybe? Not really sure. Serviceable. But it doesn't have the flair of like an Estrada. Just gonna buzz through this real quick. And Too Fickle to Be Faithful. This is that the cover story? Yeah, that's John Rosenberger. He's really an underrated artist. I don't think he ever did any superhero stuff. He was strictly romance as far as I know. And he did have a flair. Very expressive faces, which is meat and potatoes for these books. Heavy making out here. I think she's having second thoughts. She's too fickle. That's her problem. And there's a statement of ownership. Let's see. There were 204,013 circulated, paid circulation. Not bad. One thing I skipped over on this book was the Mad Moderns. I think this is J. Scott Pike. I've seen some credited to Tony Abruzzo, but I think this is Pike. Next we'll look at Girls Love number 129 from 1967. It's a nice cover by J. Scott Pike. I know he didn't bring me here just to watch a movie. Oh, why can't I grow up? The tear in her eye. This first story is by Art Petty, who is perhaps best known for his work on the JSA and All-Star comics. Just gonna flip through this really quickly. He's a pretty good artist, not great, in my opinion, but very serviceable. Hope you don't get sick with this fast clown camera work. This is a Mad Moderns. I think this may be Tony Abruzio. This is a distinct difference from the J. Scott Pike ones. But again, I don't know. I don't know for sure. So little to ask. This, I think, is another Arthur Petty, if I'm not mistaken. You know, it might be Tony Abruzio now I think about it. That's kind of a nice panel there. Abruzio is known for his panelology. Yeah. Nice stuff. Autographed. Hit the rock. Oh, that girl's really breaking me up. Oh, I'm back in his arms. Oh, ship at sea. Oh, shipwreck. Oh, she's in his arm. Oh no. Are they together forever in the deep, the big deep? And Love Was a Lie. This is J. Scott Pike from the cover. I guess all the romance comics did that. They would have the final story splash page would usually be the cover. It's very common. I think I skipped a page. Yeah. J. Scott Pike is very clean lines, very nicely drawn. Seems like I should have some scholarly things to say about this stuff, but really I just look at it and marvel. Some of it is just really, really good artwork. And I hope that this video will convey it and won't be too boring for you. They're talking behind her back, better known as the iceberg. Uh-oh. She's gonna have to work on that. Looks like she's thawing out a little bit. No, maybe not. I'll take you home. I've lost him. I've lost him. But he comes back around. Maybe playing hard to get isn't the wrong strategy. Next is Another Girl's Love, number 158, from, I want to say, 1971. That's a Don Heck cover. And first story is by Tony DeZuniga, another artist who kind of excelled in his romance work. I kind of know him best from Jonah Hex and other similar books that he has done in the past. But look at that panel. Very nice. Yeah, I think he's just got a vibrancy to it that really comes across. A little sex appeal, modest. Conveys emotion in the artwork. Oh, what's going on here? In the headlights, later at the beach. Oh, don't worry, I'm gonna marry him. I didn't understand, officer. She's some crazy. She's gone crazy. Well, I don't know what happened there. Just friends. I'm not sure. I want to say John Rosenberg, maybe? Rosenberger? Could be. What's your dating IQ? Look at this. It's Elizabeth Safian. I don't know how to pronounce her name. But I just love her little decorations that she does. Very interesting. And finally, this is Gruesome Twosome with none other than George Tuska artwork. Ooh, that's the Gruesome Twosome, huh? Everybody's laughing at him. Kind of gawky. She's tall, he's short. People give him a bunch of shit, I guess. Tuska is a very good storyteller. The way he designs his panels, he's just very clear. It's easy to follow what's going on, you know, in the close scenes and in far away. He's not the flashiest or the most beautiful artist, but it's very enjoyable. Ah, he learned some jiu-jitsu, huh? That's how he took care of them. And a little one-pager by Lee Elias. I'll go slow, you can read that if you want to. And another statement, looks like this one. $158, $303 paid on the last issue. Next, we're going to look at some Charlton work. This is Just Married, number 57 from 1968. And yes, that's Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. You also snore, darling. Not for him alone. That's, I think, an artist named Matt Grauer. He's okay. Not a bad artist. Just going to flip through this very quickly. Always got the bad boy come along and spoil the show. Sexy. But of course she sleeps alone. And in the morning she's all happy, showing off her bathing suit. And he's at the beach. It's bound to be a confrontation of some kind. Wow, she's snacksing. Oh, some other guy. Okay, another guy makes a move on her, and she smacks him, and then her boyfriend comes along. Boom, he gets hit. Boom, the guy's a professional. But he comes back and knocks him out, and he gets the girl. Common theme in Charlton comics. This is also, I think, Hank Grauer. Let's just skip ahead here. This video is going to get way too long. And they end up in a tent. You also snore, darling. This is the Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. Just kind of look closely at his artwork. I admire the way he frames his pictures. Far away, close up. Really makes this stuff interesting. I'm not sure how old he was at this time. I would think in his 20s, 1968. It was later in the 70s he got his break with DC. And I think he's still drawing. The Venetian blind effects there. Nice. And the palm trees. And the chicks in bathing suits. He's really head and shoulders above the other artists, even the good artists. He really kind of shined in these early books. And here's an ad, buy Charlton Comics, we need the money. Romantic story, Grand Prix, fighting Marines, Billy the Kid, Ghosts, and Hercules. What a lineup. Next is Secret Romance, number 3 from 1969, with a Garcia Lopez, or Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. Whew, that's a mouthful. He did the cover and story inside. Let's have a look. first story, signed Goot. That's short for Gutenberg Monterio, I believe is his name. David's Promise. He was a pretty good artist. He did some nice work. Good stair art. That's provocative. Oh, and she gets married in the end. Isn't that nice? Happiness at last. This is Charles Nicholas and Vince Alisea. I don't have a lot to say about them. They're kind of what turned me off to Charlton comics for many years. I just never really cared for their art. I guess, looking at it now, it's not as terrible as I once thought it was, but compared to, some of the others, it's really kind of not that interesting. Well, they're trying. Bless their hearts. If you like Nicholas and Alisea, give me a holler down in the comments. I'd like to know what other people think of them. I hate to write them off as being totally useless, but I don't know. Only one day of ecstasy. Okay. This is the JL GL. Life-size inflatable doll, $9.99. Holy smoke. What do you think they're going to do with that? Pretty nice. There's the kind of Venetian blind effect. Ooh, that's a Mopar there. Or based on a Mopar anyway. Looks like a 70 Charger. Darling, I love you with what's going on there? Uh-oh. She's on the stretcher. Now she's worried. Yeah, there's another side of that Charger. Seems like it changed colors. Oh, he's all right in the end. Next we have Time for Love, number 16 from 1970. That's a Jim Aparo cover. Nice bit of work. Love lies deep and cold. Oh, she's remembering back in the day when he was warm. This is another Gutenberg Monterio. Rich girls can learn to cry. And I guess she's rich because she's crying. I think that's a Mustang. Some nice background work. Nice figure drawings. Oh, good. He's pretty good. Not much on backgrounds, but that was common with Charlton. They had to work fast. And just for fun, another Nicholas and Alicea story. A couple of businessmen checking out the entertainer. You know love's gonna sprout here somehow. What do you think? Am I too harsh on them? It just doesn't really appeal to me that much. I'd like to know what anyone else thinks about them. I've never had a conversation with anyone about Nicholas and Alicea. It's always just been this disdain in my head. Guess he's been getting grief from his boss from dating the entertainer. But I guess they end up together. This is Luis Avila, who is always very interesting. This 1970 rendition. It's the Paro cover based on this story. It's unusual that they would have a different artist. I guess they didn't think that would make a good cover. Well, maybe I disagree with them. There's another Mopar, looks like a cornet. I used to have one of those. I think it's a 69. Yeah, I like Luis Avila. Avila? A-V-I-L-A. He always draws the angst-ridden girls. Hold on. Let me alone. Uh-oh. You know there's going to be some romance here. Brick wall. That's a lot of work. And a little God's eye thing there. What do you think of Luis Avila? He's not quite... He's more stylized, I think, than Garcia Lopez. Just as talented, I think, but more stylized somehow. I don't know how to describe my thoughts on that. He's always got the reclining girls and deep thought. What's going to happen next? What else but romance? And the final kiss. There's another house ad. Oh, look at all these titles. I think I've got examples of all those titles. Bubbling with romance. Woo! And I think I'm going to end on this one. This is I Love You, number 67 from 1967. It's a Dick Giordano cover. Eternally yours. Please, Andrea, I love you. Can't you see that I can't forget Lloyd? That I still love him? That I'll always love him? Ooh, too bad. Poor angsty Andrea. The Moon Was My Enemy. With art by Jim Aparo. No doubt written by Joe Gill. I think he wrote a ton of stories for Charlton in all genres. Yeah. Very nice. Alright, a little airplane action there. He's winging his way. Oh, she was on both sides of that. Maybe somebody's coming to him or to her. It's interesting. Wouldn't say it's the greatest artwork, but it's definitely heads and shoulders above some of the others. And of course they end up kissing. This, I believe, is by Vince Colletta. Have a look at that. He's always been kind of controversial. He did a lot of inks on these romance stories. This is when I think he did the pencils. What do you think? Yes or no for Vince? He's not bad. He's got some chops, I guess. Charlton romance always end up in the water. And agonizing overnight. And they live happily ever after. And finally is Ernesto Garcia. Seijas, that's spelled S-E-I-J-A-S. Seijas? I think he went by Ernesto Garcia later. Dropped the last name. Eternally Yours. Good funeral art, I guess, on a rainy day. Can she ever get over it? Well, I did meet this cute guy at the funeral. Nice curtains there. Well, I guess I'll get myself spruced up a little bit. Hey, what's this? Better check it out. Guess she's attracting attention. Oh, this guy's getting ready to make a move, I think. Taking his pants off. She's in the water. What does that say? Andrea. Oh yeah, this is from the cover. I guess Lloyd was the funeral guy. Oh, this is a nice twist. He's the one who's drowning, so she saves him. Oh, yeah. That was a good move. And heck with Lloyd. Well, that's a nice little selection of romance comics. I hope you enjoyed this. Hope this didn't run too long and lose your interest. But if you have any comments, I'd like to hear it. And if you like this video, like it. Hello. This video is about another great Charlton comic artist named Ernesto Garcia. That's where he signed most of his work. His real name was Ernesto Garcia Rudolfo Cejas. He was an Argentinian who started drawing at the age of 17 and worked on a number of different projects. And I'll be putting up some of his other artwork in between the books. This first one comes from 1967. He did the cover. Trapped for an Unwary Heart. I'm not going to go into the stories. I'm just going to highlight the artwork. This is an earlier work from 1967, but I always consider him the good artist from especially the early pre-70 Charltons. The art was mainly figures, which he does very well. Backgrounds are not that much to speak of. The exteriors are a little better, but not that much. And his cars are good. And his facial expressions, he excels in that. And she dreams of romance. And in the office, she's got her ears perked up, wants to know what's going on. I'll show him how feminine I am. Uh-oh, sounds like a challenge. Uh-oh, she's getting out the war paint. All right, looking good. The results are worth the trouble I went to. Avery's eyes almost bulge out of his head. The artwork is very understated compared to other artists. And of course, all that work pays off. A little kiss, a little romance, and it pays to be a career girl. Next we have Teenage Love from 1968. It's quite an involved cover here. I think these are cut and paste from the inside stories usually. Never say I love you. Never say I love you. You can see already he's loosened up a little bit. This is just a year later, 6 months later. It's more decorative in the background and better colors too. Look at that little background there. It's tremendous. Oh no, it's a crash. She doesn't appear on the accident report, but she feels bad about it. I'll never let anything like this happen to me again. it's just darn good artwork. The stories, I can take them or leave them. I mostly just look at the pictures, to be frank. There's kind of a complex panel. Dennis is nice, but he'll never take Gary's place. She says that before he moves in. Yeah, you can see these panels that were reworked into the cover. He's fun. So they yak it up. Looks like the disco. And go, Jimmy, go for a touchdown. Good, nice legs there. Another complex panel there. It's really nice stuff. Seems like a little Al Williamson background there. At this time, I think he was doing a lot of westerns in Argentina. Romance and the end. Next we have Teen Confessions, also from 1968. Some couples in the background there. Breakup. Tomorrow I'll tell him. Tonight we make out. ERG, Ernesto Rodolfo Garcia. These various signatures at this time period. Like a deer in the headlights. Hey, what are you doing? I can give you a ride. Uh-oh. He's a clean-cut guy. She decides to go with him. He takes him to a party. He's a lot of fun. Oh no. The guy she ditched, and he's furious. And of course she's going to take a swing at the guy she's with. That never turns out well. Boom! Absolutely beautiful. New boyfriend. Gives it to the old boyfriend. And of course there's no question about who she's going home with. Mr. Clean Cut. They're getting closer. She's thinking about it. You can tell. The little silhouettes. What's the idea of bringing my daughter home this late, this hour? You young... Oh, you're not the guy I thought you are. Well, I guess you're okay. Yeah, well, my dad likes you. And that night she dreams of romance. So the next day they go to the beach, and there he is again. He's gonna start something again. Pow! Little judo, little karate. Boom, throws the guy. So close. Well, let's go in the water. And they kiss in the deep. Aw, isn't that sweet? And then later, golly, this could get to be a habit. A wonderful, wonderful habit. The end. Next is an issue of Romantic Story, also from 1968. Little beach cover. Nice scene. And as usual, it's the splash page. I don't want to be different. Relax, doll, this won't hurt a bit. Ugh, I hate it when you kiss me like that. Guess he's slipping or something, I don't know. But she breaks away. Sheesh, what a creep. So she's doesn't know why am I different. So she goes back and the guitar player spots her. He's different too. Funny he doesn't have a girl like the others. Mike's with Lola. She's anybody's girl. Get the picture, princess? Oh, how horrible. So he takes off with anybody's girl. Leaves her at the beach. What a creep. But what's this? Oh, it's the guitar player. Oh, he's got a car. And he takes her home. And apparently he doesn't make too much of a move. And she's thinking about him. Look at that work. It's so beautiful. And the next morning, she talks it over with Mom. Why am I different? Oh, you're just a good girl. The rest of them are sluts. Yeah, you're right, Mom. Where do you meet this guy? He's a guitar player. More of this business. Always reminds me of Al Williamson in the 50s. And they're back at the beach. So the other guys are going to make a play for her. But she's different. She winds up alone. But then here comes the other guy. It's always the guys in the glasses. You mean you wanted to talk? Of course, Hank. If you really want to. Ah, she wants to talk. She is different. So, yakety yak. Not yet. It's too soon. But she's thinking about it. And another day. Maybe. Yes. I'm so glad I never felt this way before. That's what I dreamed of and wanted. And Hank is the only man I will ever love. The end. And finally, from October of '68, we have Sweetheart Comics. And this is kind of a nice contrast cover. A few horses. Dude Ranch Darling. And of course, that's the splash page. Wordy, 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 wordy. But look at that sky. Look at that girl. Look at that guy. Nice. So they're hitting it off right from the start. It's a good excuse to get some horses in. Of course, he's been a good Western artist in other lands. And it's kind of a stereotype left over from the olden days. I was awake half the night remembering that kiss, but I don't compete for Tom. So he's kissing them all. So she gets on the horse and takes off with that kiss still in the background. Look at that. Nice. This is a Charlton, remember? Nice. Nice nature work. Is that an elk? And she must be in some kind of danger. Something going on. She's thrown from her horse. What's going on in the background there? Is that like a stream or a lake or a pond? He's looking for her. Ooh, thunder. It's gonna rain. Oh no, she's getting soaked. She may be high enough. Then the rain comes with the splitting thunder and blinding flashes of lightning. There's only one thing I could do. And of course she closes her eyes and prays her heart out. And the rain stops. Thank you, Lord. And then Tom Crimmins isn't far away. Finds her horse, so she must be nearby, I guess. Good thing he's got batteries in his flashlight. And there she is. Tom, darling, what will I do? Just stay right there, honey. She's high and dry somewhere. Not exactly sure what's going on there, but it's kind of dramatic. Gets her and gets her out. I guess they couldn't wade out of there. Nice figure work. He crawls out, and she's in his arms briefly, but she's all wet, so he covers her with his jacket, builds a little fire. You'll make someone a fine husband, she says. Gotten out of her pants, I noticed. And they warm up by the fire. And of course, he's got his coffee pot with him. Rider's coming. I reckon you better put your dry clothes on now. Huh? All right. So she gets dressed as the others come up to find him. Why didn't I think of almost getting drowned in a flood? Oh, the other girls are jealous. The end. Well, there's a peek at the wonderful art of Ernesto Garcia in Charlton romance comics. He was really big in Argentina. He did work in Italy and Spain and all over. Really respected work, and his work at Charlton has been largely forgotten, which I think is a shame because he did some really great work. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you liked it, like it. And don't forget to leave a comment and like it and all that other good stuff. And we'll see you next time. Hello. Today we're looking at more Charlton romance comics. And today we're focusing on the art of Luis Avila. He did all these covers. He was very prolific in the late 60s and early 70s. First is this issue from 1967, A Soldier's Promise. Avila's style is realistic, delicate. Man, he put a lot of work into the hair. But this is kind of almost a propaganda story about Vietnam. This girl, she's somehow in Vietnam with him. I don't know exactly what she's doing. It isn't really explained. But he's got to go back to the bush or the jungle or whatever they call it, and she's left alone with her friends. And there's a lot of talk. And so she goes with her friend to the hospital to write letters for the soldiers and do whatnot. And one day she calls him over. Oh, here's a special forces guy like your boyfriend. Oh, I wonder if he knows where he is. And he's like, oh yeah, I would recognize you from the picture Ed has. He's really sick and she's being taken care of by some Vietnamese women. And he kind of tells her where he is, and she talks to the doctor and tells him, describes what's wrong with him, and he gives her some medicine. And she's like, well, we're gonna go into the bush and find him. So they go in a helicopter. It's gonna drop him 6 miles away. So he says, well, we're gonna have to dress you up like a Vietnamese woman. And even though she's really tall, she has to stay in disguise and duck the Viet Cong. So they go and she meets an old woman who's going to take him to Ed. And she's like, oh, well, you know, I was home, I was afraid of spiders and snakes, and now I'm here in the jungle. And there's all kinds of nasty, creepy crawlers all over me. But then she finds him. Oh, Ed, he's really sick. So she gives him the medicine, and she's like, I'll take care of him. Bring me some water later. So she nurses him all night, and he comes to. Oh, darling, what are you doing here? And she kisses him. Best medicine of all. So she's waiting for him to get his strength back. And then they hear someone coming. Who is it? Oh, it's a medical officer. Oh, well, good. I guess they came. And they've got a helicopter, so they get out and they live happily ever after. And next is an issue of Love Diary from 1968. They frequently had the covers from the splash pages. I too am in love. So this girl, she's jealous of the people in the office who are in love, and so she's trying to make them think that she's not so lonely. She brings this picture she found in her apartment that she moved in. Someone left this picture behind, and she decides to say that it's her fiance. So everyone's, oh, who is it? Oh, and she says, oh, she makes up a name. I can't remember what it is. And so they're like, oh, who's this? Oh, this is my boyfriend in Canada. So they're like, oh, well, when he comes, you'll have to introduce us. And she's like, oh, well, I'll be getting my engagement ring any day. And so she brings the picture to a camera store to get it copied. And the guy recognizes the guy in the photo. Oh, that's Jeffrey. And she's like, oh, how did I guess his name right? So Avila, he always has these reclining pictures, reclining girls in agony. But it's very distinctive the way he draws his hair. Has these little redheads in their negligees. So the next day she goes back to work, and she's like, oh yeah, my boyfriend's gonna be coming back from Canada. And then she's like, I don't know how I'm going to get away with this. This is so embarrassing. So she brings her mother's ring and says, oh, see, I got my engagement ring. And they're like, oh, he's in town. How can we meet him? She's like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm so embarrassed. I think I'm just going to leave and never come back. So she's packing. She's getting ready to leave town, when all of a sudden there's a knock at the door. She's like, oh, she can't believe her eyes. It's the guy from the picture, Jeffrey. And he's like, oh, I hear that we're getting engaged. So she's like, oh, well, it was just the way it happened. She tells him the story. And he's like, well, I guess I'll go to lunch with you and we can pull this off so you won't have to leave town. So she's like, oh, he's really cute. So what do you think of Luis Avila's art? It's very delicate, and he does some decorations in the background. To me, he's pretty interesting. So they start kissing, and they know it's the real thing. And she's like, well, now you don't have to be engaged to me. And he's like, oh yeah, we're engaged. And so they live happily ever after. This next story is I'll Be a Modern Wife. So this is just another story about swingers. just let the art tell the story. I just really enjoy his artwork. He stands out from the stiffness of some of the other artists like Aliseo or even Capello. His art is so fluid, and the backgrounds are nice. Crazy little car there. And then we get to lingerie scenes. Remember the telephone? Things were a lot different back in 1968. That's the modern wife. This little number, Teen Confessions from 1971. Again, the cover's from the splash page. And this girl, I forget her name. She's a student of marine biology, and they're in the Florida Keys on the schooner doing research. And like all the other students have kind of paired off, but she's like on her own. It's like she thinks, oh, I'm skinny and ugly. Nobody wants to make a move on me. And there's this other guy who's like a A student, and they all make fun of him because all he wants to do is work. But he notices her and he says, hey, you want to go out on the reef in the morning? We can see what's down there. So she's like, sure. So they go in the morning and they go down, and she's like, oh, I'm going to catch our breakfast. So she spears a fish, and he's like, oh no, don't do that, don't do that. And she's like, wow, he's acting so weird, what is it? And all of a sudden, she sees there's a shark. And the blood from the fish she killed is attracting sharks. Oh no. So they go, and like he throws her into the boat, and she's like, oh yeah, you don't have to be so rough. And he's like, there was a shark just about to make a meal of me, so I had to go fast. She's like, oh, you saved my life. So the other girls are making fun of her. Oh, you know, you smell like a goldfish bowl, and you never wear any cosmetics, and blah, blah, blah. So she's like, oh, what am I going to do? The obligatory lingerie lounging scenes. I don't know what's going on in that background, but it looks pretty cool. So she says, well, you know, everybody else went out, but I'm going to make dinner for you and the professor. So they're like, oh, well, you're really a good cook. So they go out for a walk on the beach, and the professor goes, well, I'll do the dishes. You guys go out on the beach. So they go out together, and he professes his love. And so she's like, oh, I'm not such an outcast after all. go back and they go into the club where everyone is, and they're like, oh, you know, look at her, she's all dressed up. And the other guys are like, oh, wow, she makes my girl look like a boy. And so they kiss goodnight, and she thinks, well, after the exhibition's over, I guess I won't see him anymore. But then he shows up, and they go to the house and have dinner, and they live happily ever after, or so it seems. Luis Avila, he's a very good artist. He puts a lot of work into his girl's hair and the backgrounds, and I think his artwork is very cool. Next is Hollywood Romances from 1971. And this girl, Nora, she's at a luau in Hawaii. She works at a travel agency, and she's been there in Hawaii for a couple of years. And she's got a nice life and has her boyfriend. And so at this luau, there's these movie people, and they're making a TV show called Hawaii O.O. And they're checking her out, and she's pretty awesome. So they say, hey, you know, how about doing a part in the TV show? So she's thinking about it, and this guy, what's his name, Ned or Led or somebody, he's the star of the show, and she's like, oh, he's a movie star. So she tells her boyfriend, oh, do you mind if I, you know, go and talk to this guy about a movie part? And he's like, sure, go ahead. So she goes with this guy, and she's wondering what it's like to kiss a movie star. Oh, he's wonderful. Tad is his name. Oh, this is just going to be a delightful memory. He's like, well, you know, let's come to this party. There'll be lots of movie stars there. And so they're really putting it on her hot and heavy. They want, you know, he's really falling for her. And they think, wow, you know, she can make it in Hollywood. She's got everything. So he driving her home and kisses her goodnight. And she's like, well, you know, I'll have to think about it. So he drives her home, and next day he's putting the pressure on her, and she's, you know, he's non-committal. But they go to the party, and they're getting it on in the pool. And she really looks like she's going for him. But she says, I think I'm just going to stick with my boyfriend. And he's like, oh, well, I'm glad you decided to choose me. He says, you really do love him, don't you, Nora? Yes, Fritz, but I love you too. It's possible to be in love with two people at the same time, isn't it? The end. Well, what do you think of the art of Luis Avila? I think he's pretty good. And he was one of the first artists in the 60s who really started to stand out for me in Charlton romance comics. So I hope you liked this video, and if you like it, like it. And I appreciate any of your comments, and be sure and subscribe and all that good stuff. So thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.